Floyd Mayweather will be heavily regarded as one of the greatest to ever step in the square circle, one of the greatest to ever lace up the boots, one of the greatest to ever put on the gloves and knock him out for 12 rounds. For over 2 decades, Floyd Mayweather has dominated opponent after opponent after opponent and has given his all for 50 fights and not one loss, not even a draw. So why is it that Floyd Mayweather, who's one of the greatest pay-per-view draws in boxing, one of the best businessmen out right now, still gets a lot of hate? I think I know exactly why. Black success is always hated by the racist, and I'll tell you why coming up. This weekend, Floyd Mayweather has been inducted into the Pro Boxing Hall of Fame. He won a bronze medal at the 1996 Olympic Games in the featherweight class. He has a total record of 50 wins, no losses, including 27 of those wins coming by way of knockout. After starting his business in 2007, Mayweather Promotions, he dropped the Pretty Boy moniker and went to Money May and lived right up to his nickname, becoming one of the biggest draws in pay-per-view boxing history. His earnings have totaled up to over $1 billion, and we still can't seem to figure out how is it that Floyd Mayweather gets so much hate. And I'm going to be totally honest with you when I say this. Now, it's no secret. Floyd is probably one of the biggest trash talkers in boxing. Somewhere along the line, Floyd Mayweather was liked in the beginning of his career, but I think he took some time off and was only fighting once a year, and his popularity sort of went down a little bit. So what happened was Floyd decided that instead of being the good guy, he would turn heel. For those that don't know, heel is a wrestling term. It means a bad guy. So he decided he would turn heel, and he would get the crowd to hate him. And when he did that, what you had was viewers that couldn't stand him so much that they paid money in the hopes that he would get knocked out and humbled. And it never happened. Now in 2007, he took his own destiny in his hands by breaking away from Bob Arum and starting his own company, Mayweather Promotions. And he began to cut out the middleman. He cut out the middleman. Now, are you not only a trash talker, but you can back it up in the ring, and you are getting them big checks. Some of these racist white folks don't like that. They never like that. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with why people, it's one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest reasons why people hate Floyd Mayweather so much. Because he is a black man that took his destiny into his own hands and made his own money. Now, he doesn't have anybody to answer to. See, they don't know how to deal with us when we don't need them. When we don't need their money, they don't know how to deal with us. So that became a problem. A professor from the University of Texas named Ben Carrington wrote a book called Race, Sports, Politics, the Sports Black Diaspora. And in this book, he suggests that the public generally categorizes two black athletes into personality groups. You got the Joe Louis athlete or the Jack Johnson athlete. Joe Louis athletes are likable for their vapor personas, meaning they're quiet, they don't bother nobody, they get in there, they work. The Jack Johnsons, they're unlikable because they show too much personality. Floyd flaunted his wealth. Like I said, he was a trash talker in the ring. He flaunted his wealth, and he made it clear that he fights for money. So, because of that already added fuel to the fire of why people hate Floyd Mayweather so much. Why he gets hated on so much. On top of the fact that people claim that his fights are boring because he doesn't brawl. He doesn't stand in the center of the ring and brawl. First of all, if you hate Floyd Mayweather because he's not a, quote, gladiator in the ring, he doesn't stand there and slug it out, you don't know boxing. Boxing is the sweet science. They don't call it the sweet science for nothing. The object is to hit and not get hit. And if you've never stepped in that square circle or you've never studied the sport, you wouldn't even begin to understand. So I don't even care about that. But back to the original point. What I was saying what my man Mr. Carrington from Texas was saying is that Floyd is probably, that's not what he said, but this is what I'm getting from it. Floyd is the Jack Johnson athlete. He's unlikable. He's showing too much personality. He says, quote, there's a notion that black people are more primitive, more violent, and aggressive. And there's also a suggestion that if blacks are going to compete in the same spaces as whites, they need to do so with deference, end quote. Quote again, and so it tends to be black athletes who tend to be more commercial, less aggressive, less cocky, less brash. They're the ones that are going to be liked more. And those that show any signs of aggression and any sign of lacking deference towards white authority can be problematic. So this is a man that he has made his own destiny. He does not care. He is going to say what he feels and how he feels, and he knows exactly what to do to get people to hate him. This is why everybody was rooting for Manny Pacquiao to win when they fought, and I knew Mayweather was going to beat him up. This is why people rooted for Oscar De La Hoya to win. He knows what to say to get the crowd riled up. He knew what to say. But then there's this thing that, once again, it's that thing with black success that I believe some of these white races have a problem with. When you have a fighter who is anybody that's successful, whether it be Floyd Mayweather in boxing, the University of Alabama in college football, the New England Patriots, the Boston Celtics, the New York Yankees, it's a love-hate thing that people have with success. But I'm not going to talk your heads off about it. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments? Hit like, subscribe. Why do you think people hate Floyd Mayweather? Why do you hate Floyd Mayweather? I'm Rico McGee. This has been the Sports Minute. And as always, we'll see you in a minute.